Hello, my name's John and I drink things on the internet, and today we are covering something that I have massively neglected on this channel so far. This is a bottle of rum. Rum is one of the categories that I think I have covered the least, possibly tied with brandy. I picked this up because it promises things that I like. I like rum. It's a smoked spiced rum. Straight away, that should be a massive box ticker for me. And part of the reason why I haven't brought this to the channel before now is that I have sort of struggled with this bottle a little bit. It's much more aggressive as a rum. Maybe I just like heavily sweetened rums. I don't think I do though. There's something about this one that has just kind of stood out. So I'm going to give it another go today. This is Sweetdram. They are based in Edinburgh and they do these beautifully designed bottles with these gorgeous abstract labels on them. They're quite simple in many respects. These guys started out in London and then they moved up here. So they're a local company to me. I first came across these guys, not because of this actually. They do another product called Escabac. It's called Escabac. It's a bit of a funny name, that one. And it's touted as a gin alternative, basically. Sort of an elixir, for what a better way of putting it. It's around 38%. I tried it once at a tasting at a wine shop and I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. And I was going to bring it to the channel. And then they launched an advertising campaign which basically said, it's okay to admit that all gin tastes the same. And I was not happy with that at all. Tout the values of your own product. Absolutely. If your main marketing strategy is to shit on the competition, that's no good. I don't like that. And also, you're just wrong. As we've covered on this channel many times, there's a variety of gins. I've got a lot of them behind me. So let's pick out a couple of examples, actually. This is the Old Curiosity Hot Pink Tulip. That tastes nothing like... Let's get another example. This is another one, Holly's Gin. Radically different botanicals, different bottling strength, completely different flavours. Both gins. I rest my case, and I have many more examples behind me if we want to play that game. Actually, I did a review of this many years ago, and you can check both of them up in the cards. This is the first edition bottle and it's actually signed by Holly Harwood. I have not had the heart to finish this. It is not a reflection on the liquid. It is a fucking beautiful gin and you should buy a bottle. Not least for the fact that it looks gorgeous as well, doesn't it? But also the contents are beautiful and you should buy it. But because it is first edition, I kind of don't want to finish it. And that's dumb. But one day I will, and I will shed a little tear. So, with rums, what you would normally do is that you would mix them with something else. And I was tempted to go and get those shitty Coca-Cola mixers that I tore a new one a fair few videos ago now. But I decided that I wanted to focus on the spirit itself and sort of decode what was going on in it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same as I do with whiskey. I'm going to try it neat and then I'm going to have it with a bit of water. And that's going to be the end of things. There is a couple of suggested serves for cocktails like daiquiris and having it with ginger and all the rest of it. The problem with mixers is that they tend to overwhelm whatever the spirit is. Right, so a little bit of spiel on the back. So it says, a blend of Caribbean rums spiced with grains of paradise and infused with chamomile, lime leaf, fennel, cardamom, lapsang, and warm smoked figs. I love lapsang. I've got some in the cupboard actually, I might have some after this. We don't add artificial flavours or sugar. After all, we are adults. It's got a very similar postcode to me. This might be around the corner. Very gingery on the nose, and you can tell already from the nose as well, it's a very aggressive spirit. It's bottled at 41%. So we've had stronger things on the channel by a long way, but it smells aggressive. I don't know how else to describe that. There's not really any smoke characteristics coming through. There's something of like a treacle, molasses kind of a thing. Bit of fennel, I'm getting that. A little bit of cardamom as well. There's lots of like toasted spice elements coming through in this. All right, what's it like neat? I understand, of course, not really that many people are going to have a neat rum, but some people do have rums neat. I myself am normally included in that. Do you know what, it has calmed down a bit since I last tried this. Ginger, a little bit of wormwood, like roasted pineapple in there as well. A little bit of the lapsang coming through, but it's complementary. It's not one of the star players. It's more sort of like one of the backing singers. fresh lime, candied ginger, a little bit of banana in there as well. Do you know what? Giving this bottle a bit of time open has helped it enormously. Because when I first met this rum, it was trying to strangle you to death. It really was. It was a monster. Having given this a bit of time, let a bit of air in the bottle, and let it kind of calm down a bit, it's tamed. It's much happier. It's a good rum now. I'm happy that I've come into this now and that I have noted that it is a changed thing, because it probably would have just sat on my shelf and gathered dust otherwise. That's significantly better from when I first met it. It's a big like candied ginger start. All of the toasted spices that you get on the nose do not really come through on the palate. There's like a slight spice on the finish. I think a little bit of white pepper in there as well. The finish on this rum, and it's been a good couple of minutes now since I last took a sip out of the glass because I had to go change the battery. I just drank a cup of chamomile tea. I haven't, but if you asked me what is the last thing that you can taste in your mouth, it's chamomile tea right now. I have just had a cup of chamomile tea. Do you know, I wasn't going into this expecting to be able to actually recommend this bottle. This has mellowed out a bit now. It's had time for a lot of that angst that was in the bottle when I first encountered it to go away. I'm gonna pop a bit of water in there. The spices that are in there, they're more like a symphony. You can't necessarily pick out any individual elements, but they come together to form a cohesive whole. The nose, you've still got the candied ginger, but now there's like an orange blossom, kind of a slightly citrusy twang coming in through that as well. It's quite bright. If you've ever been into a Whole Foods store and you get that initial hit of dried spices and a little bit of sawdust, it's that kind of a nose coming in. With water added, it gives way to more sort of a fudgy kind of a sweetness. It's a little more buttery in the mouthfeel, and it's much sweeter on the palate. The finish is more akin to sort of like ginger nut biscuits. A little bit of the lapsang, but again, it's sort of like smoky tea backdrop. And I wouldn't be surprised if in 2 minutes I'm like, I've had another cup of chamomile. You still take exception to some of the marketing that these guys are doing, but you know what? It's another good liquid that they've put out. This one needed a bit of time, needed a bit of help, needs to go and sit in the naughty corner and chill out for a bit, but once it did, it's fantastic. Would I recommend buying this? I would recommend buying this about 5 months before you need it. Take the top off, maybe let it air for an hour with the lid off, make sure that nothing gets into it, then pop the lid back on, leave it alone. Maybe take a drag out of it just so you can kind of see what I was on about, because it is it's a hot liquid. Yeah, with a bit of time and a bit of patience, fantastic. And I didn't really need to do anything to this. To be honest, I put it on my shelf and forgot about it, and came around to it recently, and I was like, oh, I should do a rum again. Oh, this thing. Oh well, yeah, I guess I might as well talk about it. And I'm glad I did, because it's been a pleasant surprise, and I wasn't expecting what I ultimately found. I don't do what a lot of reviewers do, which is try what they're reviewing first. In that, like, you know, they'll have a drink before they turn the camera on to kind of get their bearings so they know what they're talking about, and then switch the camera on and then essentially repeat what they were thinking earlier. I don't do that. And it's why I have to edit these down. I've had some criticism for how choppy my edits are sometimes, and that's only because I need to cut a lot of the umming and ahhing out, because I do that a lot, because I have to try and find my thoughts. I don't have a script, and I haven't done much in terms of preparation. I'm going in blind, because I try and find a way of doing this that a customer or a consumer might find it going in for the first time. And while it's not my first time trying this, it's been a long time, and I want to try and form my opinions, my thoughts in front of you to the best of my abilities. Comment down below, what are your favourite rums? Have you tried this? Do you get where I'm coming from in saying that it has an aggressive start, or did I maybe have a bit of a weird relationship with this one when I first kicked off with it? Maybe I did, who knows? Thumb the video because it helps Google know that this is a fantastic video. And if you're new here and you are liking what I am babbling on about, then consider subscribing, because obviously I've done these, I've done this, and I've done a lot of what's behind me as well, and there's plenty more to come. So make sure that you subscribe to keep up to date, and ring the bell icon as well, because that lets you know when I'm drinking again. And join me next time where I'll be drinking something else.